Good morning. It is Monday again, 7:30 Central Time. Thank you for watching, thank you for viewing, and thank you up front for sharing. Three things affect every decision you make. Three things. Every single decision you make today, every decision you made yesterday, every decision you will make tomorrow will be based on three things. Here they are: how you see God, how you see yourself, and how you see others. We are going to take the next few Mondays and just unpackage this. I want to start with the number one thing, and it is the number one thing because it affects everything, how you see yourself and how you see others to such a degree, and that's how you see God. But I want to say something right up front that's going to kind of maybe set you back. I hope it challenges you, and I'm believing for positive change, and I'm going to cheer you on in the process. But how you treat others is really how you see God. Not what you say you believe about God, but what you actually do. Because our actions are really what we believe. If I say to you today, hey, your hair's on fire, if you believe that, you would be trying to put your hair out. Or if I said, hey, someone's running off with your car, you would run out to try to stop them or see who it was or whatever. Because what you believe leads to an action. And so what I know is that how you treat people is really what you believe about God and what you really believe God treats you like. I know that's going to cause some questions, but if you'll dig deep, what we say we believe and what we actually believe are not often the same things. So we'll just start there. How you see God is so important. And if you forgive people easily, it's because you believe God truly forgives you easily. But if you forgive sometimes and don't forgive others, in reality, that's what you believe about God, is that He forgives, but sometimes He holds on to it to a little bit to make you pay or whatever. How you treat people, even, can I say this, even how you treat yourself is about what you believe about God deep down in your heart of hearts. As a man thinketh in his heart, that's deep. That's not superficial stuff. We say things all the time about what we believe, but then our actions often demonstrate something very different. And that's because superficially, on the outside, we might say a thing because we know it's the right thing, but what we do is what we actually believe. And how you treat others, whether you forgive easily, whether you hold on to things and make people pay, whether you got to do this right, and if you don't do it right, you're going to jump all over them. That's what you believe about God, that you're going to do this Christian life right, and if not, then God's going to make you pay. What you believe about God, whether you believe He's good, whether you believe He's angry, whether you believe whatever, is ultimately going to be how you treat others. If you believe that there isn't a God, then that affects how you treat people. It affects how you see yourself. And so these three things are so important. If you believe that there is no God, that we're just creatures that came up out of the sea, then you will treat people accordingly, like an animal, because we're just a glorified monkey. And so you'll treat people that way, and you will treat yourself that way, in essence. So we're going to start with how you see God, and we're going to work our way through how we see ourselves and how we see others. But I want you to think, how do you treat people? Are you easygoing? Do you forgive easily? Are you walking in unconditional love as best you know how? Are you willing to help people and serve people and be there for people? Do you love people who don't deserve for you to love them? Do you forgive people who don't, in your mind, maybe earn forgiveness? How you treat people. Because people are the only way we know how to demonstrate anything that's going on the inside of us. If you believe that God is good and God is loving and God is kind, you will treat people accordingly. You will be easygoing with people. You will extend a hand to people who don't deserve it. You'll serve quickly. You won't be one of those people. That's not my job. You'll be an individual that, look, if I can help you, let me help you unload that trunk. Let me help you unload that truck. Let me help you cut down that tree, or whatever it might be. You're quick to serve because you believe God is quick to serve. If you believe that God thinks the best of you, you'll think the best of others, and they'll have to prove you wrong. So how you see God is numero uno. It's the number one issue. So many people are legalistic, and it's because all they read is the law when they read the Word of God. Don't do this and don't do that. And if you focus on the law, you're going to be a legalist. You're going to become legalistic. You're going to think everything's cross your T and dot your I, or man, you're in trouble. And so you'll become a Pharisee is what you'll end up becoming. Sorry to break the news to you. Are there rules? Absolutely. But the best rules are love God, love people, and serve both. And the Bible says if you'll do that, you'll fulfill all the rules. You'll fulfill all the law. But see, you have to believe that's God. That's how God is. That God is the one, through Jesus, who said, if you'll love God and love people, that's the greatest commandment. Because the commandments were meant to help us see our need for God and to help us love people well. So, how you view God affects every decision you make today. If you believe God is with you, that God is in you, and that wherever you go, God is with you, if you believe that God is for you, it will affect every decision you make today. Many people somehow forget that God is in them and with them, and He never leaves them or forsakes them. And the reason I know that is because they easily fall into sin, and they just don't think, God is 1,000 miles close to them, but God is with them the whole minute. That's what helps me stay pure a lot of times, is just knowing God isn't in the galaxy somewhere. He's right in me. He's with me. And if I do that, He's right there. How I treat people reflects how I view God. That I know God cares about me. And that He asks me to do things, not because He's mean and mad, but because He loves me. And so when I ask people not to do particular things, it isn't because I'm the boss. It isn't because I'm mean and I'm mad. It's because I want what's best for them. Because that's how I see God. That He wants the best for me. And even if I want that thing really, really bad, and God says no, in my heart, I believe there's a reason He said no, and that it's for my good that He said no. That what I think is good for me may not be good for me at all. I'm going to take a jab. Sorry about that. I'll just tell you right up front. So many people think, well, if I just had a wife, I'd be happy. First off, ask somebody who has one, and then ask them if they're happy. Second off, if you think having a wife will make you happy, you're going to be really, really disappointed. If you want to be happy, that's not how you decide whether to have a wife or not. You be complete inside. You be full inside. You be completely sold out to the Lord and His will, and ask the Lord what He would have for you, rather than getting a wife or a husband and then asking God to bless it. Find out what God is blessing and choose that. Too many people, they just view God as a slot machine that they put in their prayer and pull a lever and bingo, they win the lottery or whatever. God cares about you, and if He says no, not now, then the answer should be no, and you should be grateful and realize that what you think you want may not be what you need. And so it comes back to how you view God. Is God a dictator? Is God a friend? You can take that God is my friend thing so far that you're listening to the Doobie Brothers smoking a joint singing Jesus is just all right with me, and you miss the holiness of God. So, how we view God is so vitally important to how we view life and how we view others and how we view right and wrong and how we even view rules and regulations. You know, the hamster is in the cage and he spends his whole life trying to get out of the cage, which in the cage, the boundaries, he's fed, he's taken care of, he's protected, everything he needs is within the boundaries of that cage. He spends his whole life trying to get out, and if he actually does get out, the household cat will make a meal out of him in a heartbeat. Well, the enemy, the devil, is waiting for you to get outside of the boundaries that God has given you. And what he wants to do is devour you. Choose wisely and realize the boundaries aren't because God is mean and mad. It's because God is trying to protect you and provide for you within the boundaries. That's called love. That's real love. But you got to view God as a God of love before you can even see that. If you view God as just being angry and a big, man upstairs just waiting for you to mess up or he can whack you with a stick, then every time something happens in your life, you'll think God is whacking you with the stick instead of seeing maybe it's the enemy taking advantage of some decision you made. Maybe it's just a poor decision because you didn't ask God. I mean, we just go on and on. How you view God, how you view yourself, how you view others affects every decision you make today. So the challenge is when you're making decisions, make sure your view of God is right, make sure your view of yourself is right, and make sure your view of others is right. And then you can make decisions that are beneficial not only to you, but to your fellow man. I love you all so much. Look forward to Monday so much. Wish I could already get there. Love you. Look forward to seeing you again next Monday. If you think this would help somebody you're connected to, would you go ahead and just click share? And together, you and I will continue to change thousands of lives. I'm going to take just a second, if I can, see if I can say hi to a few folks, because they only let me see a few folks. Mary Lou, bless you. Jimmy, David, you all are so faithful. Wendy, I love you all so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for viewing. Colleen, Rick, Matt, Rick Alexander, love you, my friend. Clinton, Vicky, love you guys. See you next week. Bye-bye.